Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's ceremony. My name is Tom Baldwin, class of 1969. I'll be your host this evening. Please be aware that all school grounds are non-smoking areas, and take notice of the exits at the 4 doorways around the gym in case of emergency. Before we start, I'd like to thank alumni, residents, current students, and our special guest, Master Sergeant Thomas Hazlitt, the Executive Director, and Colonel Michael Harrigan, President of the Marine Youth Foundation for coming. Besides honoring our national physical fitness champions and their coach, Tom Redden, we will also bow our heads in silence and pay homage to our 4 alumni whose lives were abruptly taken from their families, their friends, their classmates, in the service of their country. May they rest in peace, knowing that we, their Carle Place family, shall never forget them. I mean, never forget them, and God bless them. In their memory, let us all be reminded to express our appreciation, respect, and gratitude to all our men and women in uniform who continue to sacrifice for our freedom. Tonight's program is an example of how our school and local communities have worked together to organize and produce an evening of entertainment which includes student and alumni participation, support from various groups and organizations, and enthusiasm from all of you who have taken the time to share in this celebration. I especially like to express my sincere gratitude to the Board of Education, Mr. David Flatley, Superintendent of Schools, the Carle Place Athletic Booster Club, the Carle Place Civic Association, the Carle Place Building Grounds and Facilities Crew, Father Line, St. Mary's Episcopal Church, Mr. Al Piscatelli, Carle Place American Legion, alumni, current drama students, and Richard and Mary Morrison Foundation. All these individuals have helped to make this evening a successful reality. Thank you very much. Before we move on, I want to clarify that this ceremony celebrating the athletes and coaches of the late 50s through the 70s is in no way meant to ignore, exclude, or disrespect the strong athletic programs and championships and successes of the student athletes at Carle Place High School in the following years after this period. Now, would everyone please stand for the invocation given by Father Line of St. Mary's Episcopal Church and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Samantha Morales, class of 2017.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, we've come together on this beautiful evening, pausing to celebrate and reflect upon the great accomplishments of the National Fitness Champions from 1965 to 1970. As we mark this 50th anniversary, we thank you for these athletes, the coaches, and all who worked hard to sustain the amazing record that brought honor and pride to the people of Carle Place and beyond. This night, we also honor and remember those who serve in the armed forces of our country, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. May we never forget them. Moving forward, may this athletic booster club continue the mission of training a new generation of athletes who will shine for another 50 years and more. It is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now, I'd like to set the scene for an actual event, the reading of the original letter from March 20th, 1969. Let's look in on the Crossroads office, our school newspaper.
Hey, is the letter for Crossroads done?
Yeah, let's hear what we got so far.
Well, I got it right here. March 20th, 1969. To all Carle Place students, faculty members, and town residents, a war reaches and affects everyone. The Vietnamese War, in which America is committed, has probed deeply and painfully into the life of Carle Place. Already, 2 former students and residents of Carle Place, John Thorpe and Howard Hominick, are dead, sacrificed in battle. It is to them and to the number of Carle Place boys serving America abroad as part of the armed forces that this drive and the ultimate erection of a memoriam are dedicated. The drive, first described in the last issue of the Crossroads, is aimed at collecting contributions from not only Carle Place students, but from the faculty and the town residents, as well to place in the proposed new wing of the high school some fitting tribute to these men serving America. Proposals for the memoriam have ranged from a plaque to a piece of sculpture. It, however, seems likely that a combination of plaque and sculpture will be erected. At any rate, it can only be done with your help. The drive will begin Thursday, March 19th, and if all goes well, will end Friday, March 27th. Collecting will be done in the school as well as in the community. To be a success, and it must be, the drive needs not only your dollars, but a little of your time and effort to help circulate information and to collect contributions. Fellow students, volunteer for this more than worthy cause. Please come down to the Crossroads office after school and sign up.
Let's add something to that postscript. Last year, a number of our students were deeply disturbed when Howard Hominick was killed in Vietnam. One group acted through the proper channels. The flag was lowered in respect and due homage to a brave soldier. Why not come forward now? Act now to get this permanent testimonial to Howard John and to all servicemen.
The previous reenactment by the Carle Place students is a typical scene which occurred across the United States in many of our schools, clubs, churches, organizations during the 1960s. The loss of these young and men is a painful, young men and women, is a painful experience. Death does not discriminate by age, religion, race, or the color of one's skin. The proposal for this memoriam became a reality through the kind contributions of the student body, the faculty, the town residents. The plaque, which hangs in the school main lobby, is presently showing signs of aging and needs to be replaced. Myself, Mr. Thomas Redden, our National Physical Fitness champions, and the Carle Place American Legion unanimously agreed tonight's ceremony would be the ideal occasion to replace the aging plaque. I'd also like to take this opportunity to remember two of our physical fitness team members, Mark Welch, who has passed on, and Bob Slyhoff, who's seriously ill and not able to be here with us tonight. But Bob's daughter and granddaughter are here on his behalf. God bless Bob, and all prayers are with him. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to Al Piscatelli, Commander, American Legion Post 1718, followed by the playing of taps performed by Carle Place Alumni Class 1965, Larry Morse, Sergeant First Class, United States Airborne Ranger.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I would like to say, Tom, great job, a lot of hard work. Thank you. We all appreciate it. It's an honor for me tonight to present the Vietnam plaque, which will replace the one that's at the Carle Place High School right now. The only difference is this one has the pictures of the four men who can't be with us this evening. Walter Roy Schmidt, John Thorpe, Paul Semplacino, and Howard Hominick. I'm just going to read a little something that's in the booklet right here, which I think is very appropriate for this evening. They answered when called, asked for little and got less, and made us poorer for their passing, but richer for their sacrifice. In remembering the dead, we embrace the living, for we ought to remember better than we do. Thank you. Now I'd like to present the plaque to John Laterso and Barry Dennis. John LaCurta. Did I say the name wrong?
President of the Board of Education and trustee of the Board of Education. Gentlemen, this is an honor to give to you. Gentlemen, this is an honor to give you this plaque to put on display in the school. We'll never forget these young men. They did a remarkable job here for us, and we just can't let them be forgotten. Thank you.
On behalf of the Carle Place School District, I'm honored to be here tonight, along with Vice President Joe Licurdo, to honor the four students who, though many years ago, made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our country. They are gone, but they're certainly not forgotten. And not only do we honor their memories tonight and hold them sacred in the Carle Place community, but I'd also like to take this opportunity to state that we also honor all the young men and women and all of the members of our armed services today who are serving at home and abroad and who are the only bastion that we have to keep us safe. Without their efforts to protect our families, our homes, our communities, and countries, we could fall prey to the misfortunes that befall so many other areas of the world. So I'd like to take again the opportunity to honor Captain Walter Roy Schmidt, Specialist John Thorpe, Ensign Paul Simplicino, and Howard Hominick. And also, let's please give a big hand for all of our servicemen protecting us today. Thank you very much. Thank you on behalf of the Carle Place School District.
I just want to say a few things. Number one, I want to echo Barry's sentiments regarding our veterans and their service. It's an honor to be able to accept this plaque for Carle Place. I also want to, as an alumni of Carle Place, welcome back all of our alumni and coaches. Great memories, and just want to say that you guys and gals and coaches built the legacy that we all try to achieve here in Carle Place these days with our sports program. We're sitting in the gym that Joe built, and in these walls on the fields, all of you built a legacy that is truly unbelievable. We were not good, we were a dynasty back in those years, and certainly we're honoring the physical fitness team, but their achievement is probably the greatest achievement in our athletic history. So congratulations, and it's great to see you here. And then when you look at some of the other coaches and what they've achieved, I just took a scan real quick, and you see Becky King's achievements. Congratulations to everybody who made that happen. You see Coach Cody's achievements. Congratulations to everybody who made that happen. The wrestling program, the baseball program, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I just want to say that you are the building block that created the legacy, so thank you very much.
Tonight's the night the Chamber of Commerce locks itself up in a secret meeting to choose its Hall of Merit man.
What's that? Hall of Merit man?
Don't you ever read the papers? They choose one every year.
Okay, so what is it?
Oh, it's Springfield's outstanding citizen, you might say. All-around sort of fellow. Business, social, civic affairs, church. They scratch his name on a big bronze plaque that hangs in the Chamber of Commerce building, and they honor him at a banquet tomorrow night.
Who do you think they'll choose this year?
I don't know. I think if I were on the committee, I'd vote for Judge Pettigrew. He deserves it.
Say, Dad, how come you never get elected to things like that?
I'm too fat.
It would be nice if you could be something we could brag about once in a while. Why, there are a lot of things about your father you can brag about.
Sure. It's the only banjo player in the world who can play anything, except music.
All right, you wiseacres, on your way to school before I throw you out of here.
Good idea.
Bye, Dad.
Mother, I'll good night, Daddy.
Bye, dear.
All right, okay. Bye.
I'm gonna come home for lunch.
Bye, dear. Hurry up now. Bye.
Well, you can see where I stand around here.
Well, never mind what they say. I say you're a good man, Hubert.
Well, thank you.
And you rate pretty high in my Hall of Merit.
You know, it's kind of silly, but I wish someday I would win that merit award. Oh, I know it's out of the question.
I don't know that it's so out of the question. I don't know anyone in town more deserving than you.
I'm hardly the type. But it would be a nice feeling to give your kids a reason to be proud of you.
But they're proud of you. What are you talking about?
I mean, really proud. For something outstanding. Maybe I'd even like it myself. Oh, I guess every man hopes that somewhere along the line he'll receive an indication that he's done a little something with his life. And so much for dreams and vanity. I better get back to the cruel, hard world, or I won't even be able to make a living. I'll try to get home early tonight, so I can play the banjo for you. Bye, dear.
You have just finished watching an episode of Father Knows Best, recorded in 1958. Mr. Anson, played by Robert Young, remarks to his wife, "You know, it'd be a nice feeling to do something that my kids be proud about. Really proud?" I guess every man hopes somewhere along the line he receives an indication that he's done a little something with his life. His comments created the idea for tonight's ceremony. Myself, like many of the alumni, boys and girls, now men and women, especially you fitness champions, us old farts, along with our coaches, all have one thing in common. We took this small town 3/4 of a square mile and we put it on the map. Many of you shared these accomplishments with your siblings. Just to name a few: the Bassos, the Blancos, the Boyds, the Caseys, the Cromwells, the McFettys, the Myers, the Meisners, the Morrisons, the O'Connors, the Oswalds, the Rappaports. The list goes on and on. So without further ado, let's tonight's show begin. A stroll down memory lane through the eyes of an 8-year-old boy named Tom, talking with his cousins back in 1958. Before we start, does anyone know where, how, who, or when we started using each year? We're from Carle Place. It makes us all the prouder. And if you can't hear us, we'll shout a little louder. Well, you're gonna learn tonight.
Hey, cousin Tom, what's the name of this town, huh? Carle Place? I've never heard of it. I'm from Brooklyn. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx. By the way, where does Carl even live?
I mean, that's a valid question. So, my mother tells me that your school mascot is the frog. Do you croak? Maybe a little ribbit?
My mom told me you guys have a farm on the school grounds with chickens and ducks, and you guys grow potatoes and corn, and the name of it's called Rock Camp Farm.
So let me get this straight, right? So for entertainment around here, right? You probably watch the corn grow, and you listen to the chickens crow. Hey, I like that. Hey, help me out, all right? Ready? We're from Carle Place, we watch the corn grow, and if you can't hear us, we'll let the chickens grow.
Someday, I'll show them. They'll just wait and see. Carle Place is here. Look out, world, because here we come. We're from Carle Place, makes us all the prouder. And if you can't hear us, we'll shout a little louder. We're from
You got it, brother. Good athletic programs all have three major characteristics in common. One, community. A community that not just supports the program financially, but also spiritually and enthusiastically. Two, student participation. Students who are motivated with a strong will to perform to their true potential and a strong desire to learn and improve with help from their coaches and their God-given skills. Three, coaches. I'd like to paraphrase from Ms. King's award, which was so eloquently written by a small group of Carle Place alumni girls. Coach, whose leadership combined dedication and hard work with a passion for excellence. They produce consistently winning teams and a generation of young men and women equipped to succeed by confronting life's challenges with courage and conviction. Our coaches were the building blocks of the Carle Place athletic program. These building blocks all had names: Charlie Otina, Stu Ogilvy, Tom Redden, Neil Vincelette, Hank Paris, Roger McGrath, Marilyn Snars, Gene Achilles, Nancy Lagone, Roberta Hoffman Tuweiner. These building blocks were bound together to make a sound foundation by two major cornerstones: Miss Rebecca King, Girls Athletic Director, and Joseph Cody, Boys Athletic Director. Some student athletes, now adults, with careers and children of their own, strongly believe that Joe and Becky were two of the most influential coach, teachers, in their teenage lives. Joe Cody, also known as Mr. Football, coached the Carle Place boys to 12 divisional titles, including 4 undefeated seasons. Joe's key to success weren't trick plays or lady luck. It was the teaching of sound fundamentals and hard work, which was especially evident in his kickoff punt coverage and his kickoff punt return ratio. Joe was occasionally invited to speak at high school football coaches' conventions on the topic previously mentioned. Almost daily in the fall, as the sun sets in the west, you can still hear the cries from the football field, "Stay in your lane, stay in your lane, rotation, rotation." Joe's career concluded with an astonishing record: 19 punt and kickoff returns for touchdowns, while the opposing teams only had 1. Now, the students will read an article I found in a 2012 June edition of the Froghorn, "I, the Hurricane," written by Bob Greco.
I'd like to share the letter I received from Tommy Sheehan. Tommy graduated in the first graduating class of Carle Place High School in 1957. He played varsity sports against all other schools at a time when Carle Place had no senior class. He was a tremendous football player and long snapper, and is a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame. Tom went on to be a beloved teacher and coach at Westbury High School. He taught, coached, and inspired Jimmy Colligan and Mike Nickel, who became beloved teachers and coaches at Carle Place High School in their own right. Tommy is a unique person, and he is representative of the spirit, wit, and wisdom of an original Carle Place Frog. He wrote to me recently on his visit with Coach Joe Cody.
Hi, Bobby. I'm home here in Mount Chase, Maine, after a 1,000-mile round trip to visit the most influential person in my life, Joe Cody. Joe, as you know, too came into all of our lives during those most formative years of young men's lives and gave us football, a powerful metaphor for overcoming adversity. It might have been ballet, street hockey, chess, choir, or any number of activities too, I suppose, but it was football. And it really wasn't the football, it was Joe. His daughter, JC, got Joe up from a nap with his walker and got the two of us in a comfortable spot in the living room, leaving us to ourselves. He took a good look at me and without hesitance said, "Tommy Sheehan." He smiled in a broad grin and locked his eyes on mine. Over the course of the next hour or so, I reminded him of some of the special moments that I recalled. For the first time, I encountered him back in 1954 when he and his family came to Carle Place from Tenafly High School in New Jersey. I had just returned from vacationing with my family in Vermont when I first met him. He was conducting one of the first practices of the football team that was to become a focus of interest and pride of so many of us over the years. I was standing on the sideline of the practice field behind the Rushmore Avenue School with a couple of guys, and he came over offering to suit us up the next day if we were interested. That was it. Over the next 3 years, that group of freshmen and sophomores became men and set the stage for the legions of young boys that played the game at CP. At one point in our conversation, Joel told me that he was 92 and wasn't sure how much longer he would be around. I told him that my father, too, had complained about getting old until he was 100 years old, and that he had better be ready to hang around for a while longer. He laughed and noted that he had a grandmother who lived to 102, saying that he used to light her pipe, which he smoked, for her when he was a kid. Memory is an odd thing. The last words Joe spoke to me made me laugh, and I don't think I'm going to forget them. When I noticed that Joe was tiring and that I should be going, I told him that I appreciated all that he had done for us, that he had done for an incredibly amazing thing with his football program at Carle Place. His response was terse and to the point, and I quote, "I worked my ass off." I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried driving away. You will never forget the people, the lives, and the pain that glory will find in the eye of a hurricane.
Thank you. Mr. Greco, I hope you didn't mind us copying your speech, do you? I'd ask your permission. All right, we're moving on. The green right wing is offsides, but the ball goes between the legs of the white center halfback. Meanwhile, the green goalie goes out of the striking circle and uses her goalie privileges to kick the shins of the white fullback. After the ball is deflected from the rounded side of the green right inner stick, it hits the goal cage and it knocks it down. What will the Carle Place hockey girls do now? The Triple Guts Tiger Hockey were Miss King's girls' battle cry to victory. Miss King undefeated 15 of 18 seasons. Rebecca King worked for the Carle Place schools in the Carle Place, Rebecca King worked for 30 years in the Carle Place High School District as teacher, coach, director of girls athletics. A member of the Carle Place Athletic Hall of Fame, Ms. King served on the Section 8 Reorganization Committee and also as the County Field Hockey Coordinator. On September 30th, 2015, she was inducted into the first class of Nassau County High School Athletics Hall of Fame. Just believe, she was inducted with the clientele of people like Jim Brown. I mean, that's phenomenal. The Hall of Fame provides an avenue to honor the most gifted athletes, coaches, contest officials, administrators, related contributors, while helping to promote healthy competition here and strengthening interscholastic sports. Ms. King's winning ways continued through the 70s and still continue today through the coaching of her students who became coaches themselves to carry on Ms. King's tradition. Unfortunately, Ms. King's not here tonight, but Carle Nesdell will accept the award on Ms. King's behalf. Carle, please. She's our coach for now. I always know how the girls' hockey team is doing. I don't have to read the newspaper. I just ride by her house and see her trees toilet tissued, and I know they won another county championship. Carle, it's my pleasure.
First of all, Colonel Redden and the team, congratulations, your achievement. I remember being a little kid, I lived next to Carle Place Park, and I remember going down to that parade and standing there going, wow, these guys are dynamite. But Becky King exemplified everything you guys stood for. Her hard work, dedication, passion, all the same qualities Becky had and taught us. A lot of females that are down here have played for her, taught us, and we love her for it. I mean, she is the world to most of us, as I'm sure the Colonel is to you guys. So special thanks to Tommy for setting this all up and knocking on my door every other day and coming down here, but all his hard work, we appreciate it. And Becky truly was a pioneer. That's what they called her at the award ceremony. And there's many of us here that will never forget her. Always remember, once a frog, always a frog. Thanks.
back in 1967.
Our nation's capital, in the summer, a beehive of government workers, businessmen, and thousands of sightseers on vacation. My weekend in Washington was a combination vacation and business as usual. My business is boys. I'm the director of athletics for Carle Place High School. These are my boys, our team in the Marine Youth Physical Fitness Program. We've come to compete in the national championship meet. My boys trained hard all year and won the district championship. General Foods rewarded us with blazers in this Washington trip for the national meet. I'm the one with the white hair. The Post Division of General Foods made our weekend possible. Our host was the United States Marine Corps. Marines met us at the airport and our weekend began. At Quantico, Virginia, 30 miles south of Washington, is located the Marine Corps Schools. My students found it unusually interesting for a school. Marines are proud of their traditions. In the Quantico Museum, they've recreated some of their most famous battles. At Quantico, Marines train and prepare for present and future battles. In a way, so do the boys on my team. The Marine Corps Youth Physical Fitness Program helps prepare them for the challenges in adult future. Carle Place High School enrolled in the program back in 1958. We didn't need expensive equipment, only sneakers and shorts. Boys too light for football or too short for basketball can make this team. The boys measure themselves against Marine Corps Depot standards of physical fitness. They like the combination of team effort and individual recognition. But the best reward is the physical fitness and confidence each boy builds within himself. The program has been so recognized by the President's Council on Physical Fitness. At the Marine Corps Physical Fitness Academy, we were reminded that we were here not only to sightsee, but also for a strenuous national championship competition. The Marine Corps Barracks at 8th and I Streets in Washington is the home of the Commandant of the Marine Corps, the Marine Band, and the National Championship Finals of the Marine Corps Youth Physical Fitness Program. We would compete here on the parade ground of the Marine Barracks. Trophies would be awarded to the winning teams and individuals. The top-scoring senior would win a $1,000 scholarship donated by the Post Division of General Foods Corporation. The Commandant of the Marine Corps personally welcomed us and wished us good luck. There were teams here today from each of the Marine Corps districts across the nation. They came from as far south as Florida, as far west as Oregon. More than 2,000 schools and 600,000 boys had participated in the program during the school year. 9 winning teams from the district competitions had arrived. One of them would leave here as the national champions. When a Marine hits the beach during an amphibious landing, I wonder if his tension is kin to what I was feeling as the events began. Now it was strictly up to my boys. The events are the same ones that are given to Marines at boot camp. Boys who pass the test know that they can meet the physical fitness standards demanded of the Marines.
We're going to form on those boys. Wait until they get to the squat thrust. They do the famous frog kick.
As the scores pile up, anxiety spurs determination.
Here we go. There's the CD boys. Look at that form.
On the last event, the pace really quickens, and you open all the stops.
Come on, Chuck, move out.
And then it's all over but the counting. The winning score was announced while the boys were in the showers. I had no trouble lining up the national champions to receive their trophies. When the Commandant of the Marine Corps congratulated us, I didn't have to tell him how proud of my boys I was. That evening, we put on our team blazers for a banquet and the formal awards presentations. Many prominent guests were there: Justice of the Supreme Court Whizzer White, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Mr. Melvin Baker, Vice President of General Foods Corporation, and a number of famous athletes. The food was delicious. The ceremony was impressive. At the banquet, the team captain was awarded the National Championship trophy. Mr. Baker presented the General Foods $1,000 college scholarship to a senior from Burlington, Iowa. He will be at the University of Iowa next year because he was physically fit this year. That was our weekend in Washington. Although my team was the only national champion, every boy there was a real winner because he was physically fit, in capital shape for taking on the future.
Nice going, guys. All right, now I'd like to introduce our special guest for the evening, Master Sergeant Thomas Haslett, Colonel Michael Harrigan, Marine Youth Foundation. Is it true that we still hold the highest score in all these years? Our 67 team? Oh, guys, what was it? 2448, was it? I think I remember that. It was 2,448. It's still good. We still hold, 50 years later, we still hold the national record for the highest score. Congratulations and thank you, guys. Master Sergeant.
First, I'd like to welcome all the special guests, those of you who have come out in this beautiful weather. I drove here from right outside the Washington, D.C. area to come up. And the only difference between Washington, D.C. driving and here is you're about 200 miles deeper than Washington, D.C. So I had a great trip here, but Mr. Baldwin, you have done a remarkable job putting this together. You know, it's an honor to be asked to participate in something like this for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is that the U.S. Marines Youth Foundation is still very active today, with over 1,000 schools participating across the country. One school that I know of is missing, Carle Place. You do not have a youth physical fitness team. Hopefully after tonight that will change. I can honestly say, though, that in all good faith, we have two teams, or one team here tonight. Where did Coach Schlanger go? Lou Schlanger? Coach Schlanger here is a little bit to the west of you, located in the Bronx, and they would be licking their lips and ready to chomp on your school today if you were competing against them. Their exercises have changed a little bit. Today we do exercises, we do crunches instead of sit-ups. We do the push-ups. We do a standing long jump. We also do pull-ups. and we do a 360-yard shuttle run. It's still sponsored by the Marine Corps, the U.S. Marines Youth Foundation. It's a free program, and that's important because in today's schools, we are losing our ability to maintain the athletic programs because we have no money. We are losing the arts because we have no money. And it is a known fact that if a child participates in either an athletic program or an arts program and extracurricular activities that are organized, that child is less likely to suffer the influence of drugs and alcohol that is running as free as water today. So we need to support these programs. So the U.S. Marines Youth Foundation has offered this program to any school who wishes to participate. It's free. All it takes is sweat. We offer free awards. We have everything ranging from certificates to medals to plaques to monetary donations to the schools. We still offer the $1,000 to the top school in both the ROTC program and the regular high school programs. So this program is there. It's there for you to take advantage of. All you have to do is let it happen. Spend an hour or two a week with the kids, get them out there running around. We don't have the star athletes of the schools. We don't have the kids who are looking at professional sports, football and baseball. We have the everyday student who just sees that it's something that they can compete in, it's something that they can have a little pride in. So we, the U.S. Marines Youth Foundation, we want your support. We want you to have a team. It is again my indeed pleasure and honor to be here. Semper Fi.
Hello there, Carle Place. Tom over here keeps referring me twice now to as Harrington. Harrington is a much easier name to say than Harrigan, even though Mr. Cohan made me famous in 1919, or made the name famous in 1919, long before I was a gleam in my father's eyes, by writing the song, Harrigan. I'm never offended, however. Here's why. I wish I had $1 for everyone who's called me Harrington. I'd be a rich man. And here's why. Here's why I'm never offended. When I was at officer boot camp years ago at Quantico, when you never want to volunteer for anything, you want to blend in with the wallpaper and you want to do your job. And the drill sergeant was still learning names. And he said, Harrington, get up here. Well, I didn't move. So Harrington saved me. I had a heck of a time also getting here today. I had a real problem once I hit the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, maybe because I'm an Irishman and that's a name for an Italiano, but what can I say? Traffic was really, really, really bad. And more importantly, my GPS, my Garmin, went off completely for some reason going over the bridge. But because I'm a Rockville Center boy, I was able to find my way here. I knew where Carle Place was, pretty much. I had to find Willis Avenue and all that. Once I did that, I got here. Finally, one quick I call my wife the General. Her first name is Commanding. And when I retired from the Marine Corps way back in 1994, from the reserve that is, as Tom Redden did as well, my wife said to me, now the Marine Corps says it's looking for a few good men, right? I said, right. And she said, and they've had you for 30 years, isn't that right? I said, right. And she said, and there's for those same 30 years, they were still looking for a few good men because they haven't found any yet. Anyway, I want to compliment further what Tom said. We have got this film. I'd never seen it until now. I just became the president of this organization last September when General Gray nominated me. I have a background in sports and Olympic sport. In fact, the field hockey, I did a lot of work to bring the two field hockeys together years ago. the national governing bodies. I was involved with all that, trying to prevent it, actually. And so I've been involved with and I have a lot of contacts in the sports world as a result, although most of them are retired these days. In any case, we really want to grow this program, and we have to grow it. We got to get it back on track. And it's on track to the extent that it is, but it can be a lot more. I'd love to see Carle Place. I'd love to see another Tom Redden come along to develop the program here, not to mention surrounding high schools. Heck, you might even get over to Southside and Rockville Center and get them involved. So that's what that's my real mission here. I really want to try to grow this program. And looking at a lot of there are a lot of reasons why it is no longer as big as it was, as reflected in the video you just saw. But we are looking at multiple parts of this program to see reasons for the decline on the one hand, and on the other hand, how we can grow it. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks a lot. And good luck to that great team of yours.
All right, now Master Sergeant Thomas Hazlitt will call the gentleman up one by one, shake his hand, sit in the seat, or if you choose like a Stanley Cup, you can lift it up over your head and kiss it, because it has all on teams, names, and years they were on those teams, designated teams. Mr. Sergeant.
Okay, again, it's my pleasure to introduce to you your champions, and without a doubt, to have won that many years straight in such a small community. I don't remember Carle Place when I grew up. I grew up a little down the road in a place called Bayshore, and you wouldn't tell by my accent, but I moved from Bayshore probably about 49 years ago, and I ended up being stationed in the Marine Corps at most of the areas that were down in the southeastern portion of the United States, Camp Lejeune, actually at Fort Knox, Kentucky for a few years, and then I went out to California where they don't have any accent at all. But I can remember Hempstead because that's where my grandmother lived. So when I told my mom and said, hey Mom, I'm here in a place called Carle Place. Did you ever hear of it? She goes, well, of course I heard of it. You've been through it many, many times. I said, no, I've never been through this place. She goes, sure you have. Don't you remember? I said, Mom, I was 5. So welcome. I really appreciate being back in this area. I don't remember it being this hot up here, though, when I was a kid. So some things have changed. But what hasn't changed, and as I call you, would you please come up? Mr. Kieran Cobell, 1965 team. Mr. Bill Meisner, 1965 and 66. I'll tell you what, looking at some of these gentlemen, I think they could still give our kids a run for their money today. Mr. Steve Hochstadt, 1965, 1966. Mr. Billy Oberlees, 1965 and 1967. Mr. Bob Schleifhoff, 1965 and 1966.
Bob is home, seriously ill. We're all praying for him. But tonight, on Bob's behalf, we're going to have his granddaughter accept the award.
Mr. Dennis Bacard, 1966 and 1967. Mr. Gene Cromwell, 1967. Mr. Steve LaRose. Steve's not here tonight. Mr. Bob Meyer, 1967, 1968. Mr. Richard Morrison, 1966, 1967, 1968, and 1969. Mr. Bob Kyle, 1969 and 1970. Mr. Keel. Mr. Jim Meisner, 1969 and 1970. Mr. Wayne Giglio, 1970. Mr. Bob Avery, 1969. Mr. Ken Koklebek, 1968. And Mr. John Vexler, 1970. Okay, again, the Carle Place, 1965 through 1970, national champions.
I will now call this meeting of the House of Representatives into session. Our first course of action will be opening remarks from the Honorary Lester P. Wolf from the 3rd District of New York.
Mr. Speaker, physical fitness and American youth are often a topic for discussion. Critical observers tend to feel that the onset of the industrial age actually marks the beginning of the end for the sound body. In effect, they would lead one to believe that we are so push-button oriented that our younger generation totally personifies flabbiness and indolence. Mr. Speaker, I believe this is a gross exaggeration. Moreover, I am convinced that America should be proud of many of its youth, not only for their spiritual and ideological pursuits, but for their physical fitness as well. Recently, the Marine Corps Youth Physical Fitness Championship was held in the District Armory. Those who participated undeniably exemplified the fine qualities of many of our youth: sportsmanship, concentration, and stamina. I am particularly pleased, Mr. Speaker, inasmuch as the winner for the 4th consecutive year was Carle Place High School from the 3rd District of New York, which I represent. The team won with the impressive score of 2,286 points out of a possible 2,500. Outstanding participants included last year's all-around champion, Rich Morrison, 19, with a score of 488, and Bob Keel, 17, and Bob Avey, 16, with scores of 474 and 461, respectively. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Carle Place High School, its outstanding team, and Marine Major Tom Redden, who coached them. I am proud that the 3rd District has such fine examples of America's physically spent youth.
Hoorah! I'll say a few words, then turn the microphone over to Richie Morrison, who knows him better than I do. Mr. Redden, retired teacher, coach, Colonel, United States Marine Corps Reserves. affectionately known by some as TR, Uncle Tommy, etc., must have been an understudy of Theodore Roosevelt, whose motto was, "Walk softly and carry a big stick." Mr. Redden is definitely a man of action. He coached a small group of tadpoles, and he turned them into bullfrogs, the kings of the pond. Through hours, days, months, sore muscles, body fatigue, mental exhaustion, they now sit here behind me, the national physical fitness champions for the years 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. These gentlemen and their coach put us on the map. Mr. Redden came into my life in my freshman year as my physical education teacher and football coach. He has a unique way of expressing himself. My first interaction with Tom was during a gym class when a small group of us boys were fooling around. I heard this voice bellow from the far side of the gym, "Baldwin, knock off the grab-assing." Later that day during football practice, we were learning the proper technique for tackling. It was soon to be my turn. Mr. Redden turned to me and said, "Baldy, square your shoulders off. Stick your nose in the guy's numbers. Wrap your arms around his legs and drive him into the ground. And no Mickey Mousing around. You got it?" Well, later that evening, when I sat down with my family at the dinner table, my mother asked me what I had learned that day in school. I replied, "No grab-assing, no Mickey Mousing around." My mother dropped her fork. She sat upright in her chair. Her lower jaw was somewhere around her chest. She turned to my father and said, "Frank, do you hear what they're teaching your son at that school?" My father replied, "I don't know, but whatever it is, it's okay by me. This is the first time that boy has sat down at a dinner table without poking his sister or pulling her hair." My closing remarks come from the heart. There are three ways of doing things: the wrong way, the right way, the Redden way. The day I graduated from high school, with my diploma in my hand, I reflected back at my high school memories and realized that the right way and the Redden way both share the same meaning. Mr. Redden, I thank you for being my teacher, my coach, and now my friend. Thank you. Now it's time for our two-time national champion, member of the 4 national physical fitness champion teams, co-host the 1970 team, and the recipient of the 1968 Newsday Youth Award, Richard Morrison.
Thank you, boss. Tommy Baldwin and I wanted to turn this into a roast, but we thought better of it because I didn't want to get whacked with a sneaker. Man was famous for, if you cut up in class, it was take off your sneaker, bend down and touch your toes, and you found out what your treads on your sneaker looked like. Anyway, I am honored to stand once again amongst my kindred brothers who achieved so much more in the name of physical fitness prowess, school and community pride, personal goals, and team history. I am humbled thinking about how physically fit and in shape we Redden boys once were, and some obviously still are. For me, every time I start clamoring about having to get back in shape, my wonderful daughter, Dr. Caperna, smiles at me and says, "Dad, round is a shape." My brief mission tonight is to say a few words about our esteemed and beloved coach. And it is said behind every successful man is a special and wonderful woman. This couldn't be truer in the case of Tom Redden, as it applies to his life mate, his soulmate, Joan, for Mary and I, It is a gift knowing and being around lovely Joan. Coach Redden, Mr. Redden, Colonel Redden, is a unique man who is now a cherished friend. This humble and omnipresent man impressed upon us, Redden Spartans, so much more than physical fitness, cardiovascular supremacy, or national championships. This man embedded in all of us during his years of mentoring us wonderful realities like loyalty, commitment, honor, pride, respect, confidence, intestinal fortitude, sense of family, and of course, the ever-present Semper Fi attitude. I think few people outside those of us privileged to be trained by him ever understood how ahead of his time he was and the brilliance of his training and cross-training methods. All his genius and leadership equated to the national championships and the national champions we honor and memorialize tonight. But of all the importance this man meant to each of us, I believe the key word for tonight to describe this coach, this man, is dominance. I need to be careful not to step on Tom's toes, being he has yet to speak, but this celebration tonight is openly to honor 6 consecutive national championship titles. Truly unheard of. All accomplished here in little old Carle Place. What an incredible feat and statement of dominance, surely. But what few know of his true coaching dominance is that in 5 years of head-to-head national championship competition, Coach Redden's boys also crowned 5 consecutive individual national champions. Took 13 out of 15 individual honors and 4 out of 5 scholarship winners of the $1,000. Because of the tradition this man established at Carle Place, our fitness teams never had to rebuild. So often, that is the case in a small school like Carle Place. You usually have to rebuild, but not here. Because of the strength of our B team members, Coach never rebuilt. He restocked as he needed. I am thrilled. Some of his boys, now grown men, fathers, even grandfathers, will spend time with him once again, even though as much as 50 years have passed, to be able to complete a circle of life for them and Coach. Tonight is a special opportunity to genuinely thank him for changing our lives in so many positive ways, as well as the amazing experiences he led us to. Many of my teammates have already shared with me the gift of this night and all it deeply means to them. I have been told how happy they are for this night so they can hug, laugh with him, and thank him in person for what he has meant to us and how he has effected and affected change in their lives. For me, Coach Redden not only changed my life, he helped save it. Thanks, Coach.
All right, we're going to have a little change. One of our team members would like to say something, but he won't tell me what it is. So we're in for a surprise. Steve Hosted.
Thanks, Tom. I wanted to say something about Richie that nobody knows, but I have to start by thanking Tom Redden again for not just 4 years, and we have to remember, 65 wasn't the first year we did this. It was 63, and then 64, 65, 66. But I want to thank Tom for encouraging me to do sit-ups. Since I've left Carle Place High School, 1 million sit-ups. Think about that. and every time I do sit-ups, I thank Tom. But I want to say something about Richie. When Richie was a freshman in that 1966 team, the hardest thing to do, you saw it up there, were the squat thrusts. Getting 41 in a minute was the hardest thing that we did. And Richie had a special way of doing it. When he sent his legs back, they didn't touch the ground. He brought them back in without touching the ground. We all worried about that because we thought that the Marines would catch him and disqualify all those squat thrusts. So we finally convinced him that he had to touch the ground when he went back. He still got 41 all the time. But that isn't the story I want to tell you. When we went to Quantico, and in that first real national meet, I was between Schleihoff and Morrison, and after the first 4 events, we all had 400 scores, so I knew we were all tied. And then we did the run. Bobby Schleihoff, who, as you said, is really disappointed that he can't be here, came in first. Richie came in second, and I came in behind him. And then and I have to say one other thing that you will remember. 3 minutes. You're supposed to have 3 minutes between each exercise. But this was the first time those Marines were running the event, and they only gave us 1 minute in between the exercises. Anyway, by the time they came to give the awards, they said that Bob Schleihoff was first and I was second. But I knew that was wrong because Richie had beaten me. So I went over to Richie and I said, Rich, they made a mistake. Let's tell them that you came in second. He said, no, Steve, you're a senior. I'll be back here. And he did come back and win 2 individual awards. Thanks, Rich. I'm not giving you my award back. I'm not giving you my award, but thank you.
We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to go, long as he wants to go, opposite to the foe. We'll stay with the old man wherever he wants to stay, long as he stays away from the battle fray. Because we love him, especially when he keeps us on the ball. And we'll tell the kiddies we answer to his call, with the grandest son of a soldier of them all. Because we love him, especially when he keeps us on the ball. And we'll tell the kiddies we answer to his call, with the grandest son of a soldier of them all.
Troops are ready for inspection, sir. Just routine, sir.
I am not satisfied with the conduct of this division. Some of you men are under the impression, having been at Anzio, entitles you not to wear neckties. Well, you're wrong. Neckties will be worn in this area. And look at the rest of your appearance. You're a disgrace to the outfit. You're soft, you're sloppy, you're unruly, you're undisciplined. And I never saw anything look so wonderful in my whole life. Thank you all.
General.
I'm grateful, Captain.
We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to go,
long as he wants to go opposite to the foe. We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to stay, long as he stays away from battle's fray. Because we love him, especially when he keeps us on the ball. And we'll tell the kiddies we answer duty's call with the grandest son of a soldier of them all. Because we love him, especially when he keeps us on the ball. And we'll tell the kiddies we answer duty's call with the grandest son of a soldier of them all.
Thank you, guys. Woo! All right. Mr. Redden, it's time to come up and inspect your troops. In a few days, it's going to be Mr. Redden's 87th birthday, so let's hear it.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, blow out those candles. Okay, Coach. Mr. Redden, the microphone is yours.
Years ago, a Navy chaplain told me my very best sermons are the ones where the beginning and the end are very close together. So I'll try to adhere to that piece of advice. Special thanks to all of the Board of Education, Mr. Joe Licurdo. Joe, I know your mom and dad are up there looking down. They were so strong and interested in the Carle Place schools and particularly the athletic programs. And I know they're up there, they're very proud of you for the work you're doing with the Board of Education here. Unfortunately, the superintendent, Mr. Dave Flatley, isn't here. But I know he's down in Texas. His daughter is graduating from Officers Candidate School and commissioned as a second lieutenant. And once she completes her medical school training, she'll be serving in the Army as a doctor. And of course, that's where he has to be, and rightfully so. You know, I spent a fair amount of time going through the archives because Tommy Baldwin, when he came up with this idea, he asked me to give him some background information on the teams and so on. During that time, it was tremendous. A lot of fun looking at the photos and going back and reliving those tremendous glory years. And oftentimes people will come in, or when we're talking about athletics, and in this case, physical fitness, what kind of guys is it? What kind of guys do you draw on a physical fitness team? Many people have, they have a image of what a football player should be, depending on the position he's playing, wrestlers, trackmen and so forth. But physical fitness, what about these guys? Well, you look at these individuals right here, and I'll tell you, they didn't just do physical fitness. We had guys that were, yes, top-notch wrestlers. Other guys were football players. We had one team member that was a swimmer. Do we have a swimming pool in Carle Place? Of course not. And he's the only one that I know of, and his name is Bob Schleihoff. He was a county champion. He went up to the states. He became a state champion as a swimmer. Without a pool. When I was looking at some of those photos, I came across one down at Quantico, down in the stadium, which was down in a bowl. And as the Master Sergeant said a little while ago, it gets pretty hot down there in Virginia and as you go further south. Well, we ran the entire competition. The last event is the 300 shuttle yard run. And I'll never forget Billy Meisner coming across there at the end of that run, letting out a huge scream and diving across the finish line. A little bit after this, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Green, walking up to him, taking him by the arm, congratulating him, and of course, asking him about, did he get injured? Is he okay? Now that's leadership. And fortunately, Billy sustained no injuries on that occasion. We had any number of events, the PR events that were set up by, at the time, Lieutenant Colonel George Myers. That's with an S, not a relative of Bobby Meyer. One of the things that he did, he had this individual by the name of Frank Sutton. And Frank Sutton was a co-star in a program, TV program that is, called Gomer Pyle. And he came to the school dressed as a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. And right out here, we put up a, I think it was like a 16-man pyramid. And Joe Cassiola is one of the guys. He was right on the base there. And later on, the good gunny gave some strict instructions to him and a few other people, and it was just a great opportunity to mingle with somebody of note on that particular era. As I say, there were numerous photos that I had the opportunity to look at again, and one of the favorites was of the 1968 team, I believe it was, in front of the Iwo Jima Memorial right down there next to Arlington Cemetery. And there was the team all lined up and that huge statue behind. It was very, very touching to see that particular photo after all these years. The awards dinners that the Marine Corps set up after these events were tremendous. And one of them we had Bob Mathias, he was a congressman at the time, and of course the former Olympian in the decathlon. I do also want to thank the Colonel and Master Sergeant for all they've done to maintain the physical fitness program. And we wish them continued success and hope that maybe Carle Place can get back in the action again in the near future. I'm going to wind up my remarks here, but I'm going to give you an assignment, all the team members. And we used to do this in between when they were supposed to be resting and so forth. I would talk about different things just to keep their mind off the so-called agony. It never occurred, believe me. But we would talk about different things, and one of the things we would talk about are the principles of life. And I'm not going to get into that in detail at this time, but they will recall, and of course the first principle is you must always be smarter than the equipment you're operating. And it goes on from there. But I want to add one that we didn't have at that time, and it's posted right out there on the in the Hall of Fame, and at the bottom of the big sign out there you'll see the quote, "That which is done well forever," which was a remark made by Henry David Thoreau. So we want to keep that in mind, and in talking briefly to the team members here this evening, they have adhered to that. They may not have thought of it at the time, but believe me, they have done a lot of many, many good things since they left good old Carle Place High School. The last thing I want to mention along those lines is to Google a passage it's on YouTube, but Google Admiral William McRaven. Again, Admiral William McRaven. He was an admiral, as I just mentioned. He's retired now. He was a SEAL, and he was the commanding officer of all special ops in the Navy. In 2014, he gave the commencement speech down at Texas University. And if you look at the video of that particular speech, you'll appreciate why I'm recommending it here tonight. So I will check with you, gents, in the near future, and I want you to give me a report on this. All right, before I turn it back to Tommy here, I just want to mention that when he came up with this idea a year ago in the summer, we talked about the event and so forth, and it was launched at that time, and of course he got in touch with the Master Sergeant and Colonel Haggerty and the Marine Corps League, which oversees the program at this time, and they gave him a lot of help. But in addition to that help, I want to mention that he had the assistance of Richie Morrison in many, many, many ways, and his right-hand assistant director of operations, Nina. If you two will stand up. Richie, Nina. Thank you ever so much for all the good work you did with Tommy. It was a tremendous task that he undertook, and from my point of view, he did a fantastic job. Thank you, Tommy.
Mr. Redden, first of all, these papers you have here are blank. What did you ad lib? There's nothing here.
Mary Morrison of the Morrison Foundation, front and center, please.
Where's Frank?
Well, you got to make sure you have something.
Hey, I'm going to give you an assignment.
Hi. If people don't know, I was once Mary Varelis, but I'm really proud to be Mary Morrison. This is where my husband and I met and became high school sweethearts and had 6 beautiful girls, and 5 of them are here, and I just want to point them out if they would stand up because we love them dearly. Angel Destiny, who's our baby, she's 20. I will. Dawn Marie is the oldest. If you remember what happened to me, she's the special one. Dawn Marie, stand up. Come on. We have April Sunshine, is the second oldest. She's having her third baby in September. And then we got Joy Mary over there with my granddaughter Zariah. And I have Lahana Sunshine is one of my granddaughters. And we have Julian Trust, who's a grandson. I have 6 grandchildren and 1 more coming. So I'll talk about the foundation. This is our family. Wait, who? Oh, and I have 2 son-in-laws here, Mark and Sergio. And I forgot her. She runs the foundation. This is Rose and Grace. Okay. Sorry, Rose. We were blessed about 6 years ago, and I'm sure most people know that. And I'm very thankful that we were blessed with such a wonderful gift. And with I will say $5 million, we put aside and we started a foundation. The foundation can only give to non-for-profits, and we've been very busy giving money away. We have to give $250,000 away every year, which I find a blessing, and I love it, and it warms my heart that I can help other people that are struggling as long as it's a non-for-profit. My daughter Rose is the director of it, and she helps give money away with Richie and I. So she's going to talk a little bit about the foundation, and oh, wait a minute. I just want to talk about these handsome fellas over here, okay? They all look wonderful, and I tell you, the physical fitness team, they were the hotties, weren't they? To me, they were. I don't know. I had the best hottie one right here, Richie. So I'm proud of them, and I was proud of them then, and I'm more proud of them now that they showed up, and we're going to give them a nice little present.
She introduced me, but my name is Rose. I am child number 4, and I run the foundation, so I get the privilege of probably the best job in the world. There's nothing greater than helping other people and doing wonderful things. And this is an event that is so special to my father and means so much to him. And those good old glory days that just put a sparkle in his eye. I do have something to say to Steve. I loved your story, but I question if it's the same man because my father never let me win at anything, not even cards. It was that tough mentality. He wanted a boy so bad, but unfortunately he got 6 very athletic daughters. So to all the gentlemen up here, what a job well done and a job well earned. You should feel proud of what you guys accomplished, especially hearing that you still hold the record, something very special. So without further ado, we have rings to present to you. I'm going to call your name. I apologize if I butcher it. I'll do my best. The first man she would like to say, because it's someone very special.
The first ring that we're going to give to is Richard Morrison.
The second ring goes to Dennis Bacard.
Congratulations.
The third goes to Mr. Gene Cromwell. The fourth goes to Steve Hochstad. Next up, Mr. Bob Keel. The next up is Mr. Bill Meisner. Next up, Mr. Jim Meisner. Next up, Bobby Meyer. Mr. Billy O'Beerleys. Bob, pronounce your last name. There you go, Schleiloff.
His granddaughter's here. Morgan, please come up.
The next up would be Mr. Bob Avery, who's not here. Oh, you are here. You have you marked as not. Sorry about that. Mr. Wayne Giglio. Kieran Cobell.
He's not satisfied with one. He's got to have two.
Ken Koblack. Steve LaRose. Not here, okay. John Wexler.
This is to another very special man that has come into our life in about the last 8 years, and I'm proud to say that he's a great friend, and I enjoy his wife and him, Tom Redden.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Everybody is, a number of people, not everybody, has said nice things about Tom. I don't know why. I'm talking about Tom Baldwin. Oh, there he is. Again, this is very special to all of us. I hate to say it, but being a realist, maybe it's the last time we're ever going to see each other again. And how special is this? But in honor of everything Tommy has done, we've got Tommy a ring. So come and get your ring, Tom.
Thank you. What is your name?
Julian.
Julian, you want to say something about Grandpa?
Yeah. My grandpa actually and my dad have got me into playing baseball and got me really good at it. And I really like it. They've been encouraging me and helping me and got me really good at baseball. And I really like that they did that for me.
They sound like a good grandfather and good dad.
Yep.
You love them?
Yeah.
Make
a
sure you
lot.
tell them.
Okay.
Because they love you. Okay. Thank you. This is my favorite part. Now, I'd like to thank a special little lady, Nina Luckenbach. Without Nina's help, tonight's ceremony would have just been a figment of my imagination and not a reality. Nina was able to locate and inform 19 of the 21 members of the National Physical Fitness Championship teams. She spent endless hours researching phone directories, classmate websites, writing invitations, making phone calls, even driving to the houses of their relatives to locate our champions. Nina produced tonight's program that everyone was issued. She also did the artwork and design of the Triple Guts Tiger Hockey Award for Becky King. There's only one thing I can say besides thank you, and thank you so very much, is she's too good to be true.
for you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. And if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
In closing, my own thank you to my coaches. A song that Bob Hope made famous and sang to the men and women in uniforms at the Christmas show each year. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories of football days with Joe, baseball games with Charlie-O, days of running around the track with Stu at my back. How lucky I was. Thanks for the memories of Becky's hockey girls. To me they look like pearls. To Marilyn's gymnastics, who I thought was just fantastic. How wonderful it was. Many a day I fasted, and many a day I feasted, all to make weight, to wrestle at 8 with my friends and classmates. Thanks for the memories of Hank in wrestling mats. He pinned me on my backs, and Tom's karate chops because he hated those black socks. How lucky I was. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a lovely night. We'll have, there's soft drinks and cake outside, photographs, and whatever you want. Join in. Thank you very much.